What the fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
Welcome to Preach Care Preach with Rashad. We are the prophets. Here's another episode, another sermon coming at y'all from 12 Ounce Sports, Zingo TV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and anywhere else you can listen. Hey, Rashad, what's going on?
Man, it's a good day, man. We got the NFL draft in less than an hour.
Yes, sir.
We got Last Dance debuting this past weekend. More episodes to come up, man. So we had a little downtime, but sports is finally back. So let's get to it, man.
Definitely. I kind of want to start off with Draymond Green and his interview with the All Smoke podcast with Stephon Jackson and Matt Barnes. Is it All the Smoke or All That Smoke?
All the smoke.
All the Smoke. And I kind of want to talk about him, and he was also with Mav Carter them earlier, so he been doing his little due diligence, right? We might well call him up too. But anyway, he talked about Kevin Durant, about the whole situation. Before we dive deep into it, what are your thoughts about the turmoil between Kevin Durant and Draymond? Do you think that's one of the biggest reasons he did leave, or was it more something else?
I'm pretty sure the Draymond thing was kind of like the nail in the coffin for the most part, because Golden State, they were winning. But Kevin had kind of said winning didn't fully satisfy him like he thought it would. And then when you think about just that aspect, the media always trying to divide him from the team, Kevin Durant and the Warriors, or, oh, these rings are tainted. He joined a 73-9 team. So I think all those elements combined with Draymond kind of in that huddle blowing up saying, hey, we don't need you. We won without you. And then Kevin has come out on the same podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, All the Smoke. In his interview, I think it was episode 14, 15, he was on one of those. And he was kind of saying how when that happened, the team never really addressed it. It was just swept under the rug. Nobody, him and Draymond talked it out, did their thing. But as a whole, the organization, the roster, they didn't talk it out. So I think at that point, he started to distance himself from everybody, and it was kind of right on the wall at that point.
Yeah. The big thing about it, he was saying that if Kevin Durant really wanted to stay in Golden State, that he would have just went to the general manager and said, hey, I want to come back, but Draymond Green, he has to go. And we saw the arguments between Durant and Draymond on the court, and calling B words and all that stuff like that. And everybody know how Draymond Green is, so it's kind of questioned like, okay, what he is, he kind of bring the heart and soul to the team. But when Draymond said that, and he was like, I understand that I'll probably be the one to go because he know Kevin Durant is a superstar. That is his team basically, as far as making the team unbalanced and unfair. But you mentioned before, you said that if Draymond Green was traded, in general what he's saying is true. But when Draymond getting traded, that the Warriors probably wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah, we were talking about it off air. So in theory, you would say if the best player on the team wants me traded, automatically I'm out of there. So in theory, you would think that, but that's not how it would work. Just because Kevin Durant is already, the NBA always has a villain. It was LeBron James for a little while, and then it became Kevin Durant. So the NBA always has a villain. So he was the quote unquote villain at this point by going to the Warriors. So why would he make himself even more of a villain by trying to request, or not to request, go demand
right.
Draymond be traded? Like that just doesn't jive with KD's personality either. He's just so let me roll out the bed, brush my teeth, throw on some clothes, and go hoop type of dude. He's never been that kind of guy that would just go demand stuff from management. Because if he wanted to do that, he would have demanded OKC get more shooting for him. Because he said before Russ, him and Russ were the only two players, but KD was the only shooter once James Harden was traded. So, you had Kevin Martin, Deion Waiters, but those guys aren't just going to be getting you buckets like Steph and Clay are.
Right.
So that doesn't vibe with his personality. I'm gonna go demand a trade, and then depending upon who you trade Draymond to, that's gonna control how what you get back on the roster, how you're gonna restructure the roster. Because Draymond does stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, and what he does defensively is off the charts, honestly, for what he does for that team. So, I mean, it would have just turned the locker room into a KD versus everybody else. So why go through all that? Just go ahead. You know, he came back. He risked his health and his career to try to win a championship.
He shouldn't have done that.
So he risked his own self for that. So they
Yeah.
can't hold any ill will towards him. But he did the right thing. I'm going to make my exit. And, you know, I think he still did consider them at the end, but it was just like bridges burnt. I'm going to go do my own thing on the East Coast with Kyrie, somebody who he considers a friend. So I think he did the right thing. But, yeah, Draymond's just going out on a little media tour right now during quarantine. And, you know, he's getting some shots off, but I don't think KD's really paying any mind at this point.
But do you think it's warranted though? Like the shots that he taking? I mean, because I mean, I'm not gonna say that the Warriors begged him to come, but you know they told him, man, you come over here, we come, you can win, and you wasn't winning OKC. Yes, you had a down 3-1, but at the end of the day, you know, Curry versus Russ, you know, with Clay and with me, you know, start speaking as Draymond is a different beast, and I mean, Kevin Durant is always that guy that's like he's so up and down. You never really know what you're gonna get from him on a day-to-day basis as far as like media and personality and stuff like that. So. But I can understand Draymond's and Clay's frustration throughout the whole season because you're talking about every single day they're asked about the contract. They're asked about Kevin Durant. They're asked about this and this and that. And not Draymond, but KD, the only one that's saying, "Oh, I don't know right now. I don't know right now." While Draymond and Clay are saying, "Yeah, we want to come back. We Warriors for life." So I guess that started it all. I think all off, and then like I feel like maybe Draymond's like, "You really don't appreciate us because." We have to be champions. You know what I mean? It kind of like it's a little, probably a little taste to it. Like, come on, bro. Like, you really shouldn't be doing like this to us when we helped you win a championship.
Well, I disagree. Like from the media perspective, to me, he does his job. Like he's not really. Everybody's not gonna be Michael Jordan or LeBron James with the press. That's just not everybody.
Right.
Like KD's more of a just let me just hoop. Like I will answer your questions. I'll take your questions and everything. Right. But for the most part, he just wants to go out and be a hooper. But when he does do interviews, he's always, in my opinion, he's candid enough as far as like he'll give you enough to kind of get a headline off, or you know, he's like, you know who I am. Like he'll give you something to kind of at least do your job and get a headline off or whatnot. So, I mean, the whole Clay Draymond thing, yeah, they want to be awards for life. That's where you were drafted. That's the team you had your success with, and of course, y'all have made all stars and all NBA, so y'all can get max money from here. Of course, y'all want to stay, but. Yeah, they went and recruited KD. So to me, you know what comes with that. When you recruited this guy to come here, you knew, all right, well, at some point he's only signing a 1+1. So at some point we're gonna have to deal with the issue of is he gonna stay or not. And plus what he was trying to do on his own end business wise is you have to do so many years on the 1+1 to even get to like your tenure so you can get your own max with that team. So maybe he was angling towards that, but when you guys go fly out to this Hamptons to go meet with him and get him to come to your team, you have to accept that he may leave, or what we're doing is to help us win. He helped y'all win 2 more. He tried to help y'all get another one.
Towards Achilles in the process, yeah.
You really can't be mad at the guy for doing any of that. You know, yeah, y'all want to be here for Warriors for life and all that kind of stuff, but you can't try to put that same thing on him. Just play the season out and see what happens at the end of the season. I mean, look at other guys like LeBron. Like he's played with that over his head 3-4 times. The first time in Cleveland, really the last 2 years of Miami, because if they didn't win in 2013, they could have probably broke up then, but they did break up in 2014. He went back to Cleveland and he left again. So, you know, LeBron has played with that over his head multiple times. So I don't see why other teams feel like they're obligated to have an answer. Like KD's business is his business as far as like his contract situation, what he wants to do right now. The season's going on. Focus on that. Let's get the job done. We'll handle the off season when it gets here.
Yeah, it's almost that thing is like I left a good home before. You think I'll leave this one too? Like so, you couldn't be shocked about it. And I think Draymond just would rather have them kill the noise versus because kill the noise instead of it being a topic every day. I guess that can be frustrating over and over again when you don't know the answer.
But
Especially
see,
if you don't know it.
that's what gets guys in trouble. That's how it backfires and people turn on you because when you go and say like Kyrie, I want to be in Boston forever, and then now, the next year people
Out of
want
here.
you out. Yeah, people want you out. You want to be out of there.
Mhm.
So like it's a no win situation. If you go run to the media and say, hey, I'll be here for life. I'm a lifer, and then next thing you know, you want to get traded. If the GM trades you, oh, it's cool. But if you say, I'll see when the season ends, it's not cool. Like I don't understand why guys try to do that. Russ would have stayed in OKC forever. GM traded him. Is he not an OKC lifer? Like he
Right.
didn't have to get traded. He just kind of got traded after everything kind of snowballed with the CP3 stuff, the hard, everything that kind of snowballed that way.
Yeah, definitely. Um, let's go and change gears into. Hey, I don't know. It had a lot of viewers, 6 million viewers on ESPN. We're talking about the last dance with Michael Jordan, and the last dance, the last year of the Chicago Bulls. And I love how it so far is going. Is ping ponging about how we got there, and I think that's the most important thing. Because to understand where you've been, you got to know where you're going, where you've been. So, I guess kind of first thoughts.
Man.
I think it was crazy. Like first of all, Jerry, I think they killing Jerry RIP, and he really can't. He didn't. I don't think he had a chance to defend himself, like because he's not in none of the video. So I don't know if he had footage on it. I mean, we got footage of him back in the day, but I don't know if he really have anything to say about it because I don't know if he was still alive, how it will all turn out. But going to Phil Jackson and say, I don't care if you win 82 games, you out of here.
Yeah, man. The doc is spicy in all caps for real, man.
I
Like
love
they
it.
got a lot going on. Like you said about Jerry. Um, his ego's kind of got in the way a little bit, with the Phil Jackson thing and all that kind of stuff, which we know more details will come out over the next 8 episodes. But like you said, R.I.P. Jerry Krause, he's not here to defend himself. But we'll get into it in more detail in a little bit, but I will defend Jerry Krause because ultimately, with these things, man, they boil down to ownership. Like, I think Jerry Reinsdorf should be the one taking all the heat because if he wanted Phil back, the
He
same way
could
he went,
he could
the
have
same
stayed.
way he flew out and signed him to that $6 million deal to coach one more year, he could have did that again, and that would have kept Mike. He's the owner. I understand in his clip he was like, "Hey, when you sign his contract, don't come back ask for anything else." But he could have gave Scotty, guys had opt out clause. He could have told Scotty just opt out, and we'll take care of you for this year, and we'll evaluate going forward, reevaluate going forward. Because it happened with Mike. Mike played his career, his first 4 years, he didn't make $1 million. Then this guy was the face of the league, making between $2 and $4 million until his last 2 years, he got those 230 pieces.
Right.
So
Make it up for
you
lost
know,
time.
Reinsdorf, he could have really put his foot down as the owner and said, "Look, Krause, you gonna make it work. I mean, you probably couldn't mend the fences, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you could have just said, hey, look, this is the team we're gonna roll with, so let's go. We're gonna get it done."
Yeah, I think everybody will attack Jerry so far because that's Krause it is because that's where the narrative is at right now. It's all Krause's fault. It's all Krause's fault. But when you think about it, you look about everything that he's did. Like the only decision that I thought he messed up was the Phil Jackson part. Was to Phil Jackson, you out of here because I think Jordan would have been fine. I think Jordan would have been fine without Scottie Pippen at that stage. Like
Ooh.
now, this is what I mean by that. Like so if you're talking about Jordan, who's on the backside of his career, at this time he came in the league in '84. Now we're in '98. You already retired once. Missed the season, and you're 34. I mean, 34. When you won your last championship in '98. So you already on the backside. It was already rare that guys played that long. I mean, you had the big guys, but you really never see guards hang around that long. And I just think that Phil Jackson and Jordan probably could have ushered in this new era. And you look about the '99 season, the lockout season. You don't think Jordan and Phil would have got to the finals? The Knicks made it without Patrick. I don't think Patrick Ewing was on the team in '99. It was Camby and
No,
Spreewell and Allen Houston, was it?
I think he was still there. Like I don't think he got traded to
He went to what?
like Orlando or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
but either way, it was
No,
Spreewell.
he was still there though.
But he wasn't. Well, he wasn't saying you. You know, what I'm saying it was Camby first round pick. You got Allen Houston, Spreewell. They was scoring 20 points a game and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think he had the right idea as far as it's time to reshape this team, but he went with the idea of rebuilding versus what we should have thought was retooling, because retool, reload, kind of like a Calipari type of situation where you may lose this guy, but hey, we can bring it back and we can run the same system and keep it going. But you can't run the same system if you got a different coach in there. And I think that's where he messed up the most. If you would have had Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, and the rumors about T-Mac getting traded, you had other rumors like that. But Rodman was 36 years old, past his prime, not a guy who's going to get you points. I think he went to the Lakers in the lockout season, got cut. Then the next year he retired, so he was done. So Krause, genius-wise, Bill Belichick do this all the time, and I don't know why Krause got. We know why Krause got all the flack because short guy and wanted all the credit, blah 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 blah.
Napoleon complex.
Right, so he had all that, but it's like Bill Belichick do this all the time as far as get rid of guys a year too early before it's a year too late. And he's successful and win championships. Krause has won 6 rings. Now, and I think this is why he gets what he gets, because he won 6 rings with Jordan. And I think that's why. Because if it was 6 rings with Clyde Drexler, he would get all the credit in the world. And he can do anything he wants. And it's like, genius. But when you have a guy who's, what Larry Bird said, Michael Jordan in a pair of, Jesus in a pair of shorts, like, it's really easy for you to win championships when you have the best player of all time.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things, man. Like, you can't knock Jerry Krause. The guy knows talent. All right. Well, Rod Thorne drafted Mike, so that's not on Krause's docket. But trading Oakley for Cartwright, finessing Seattle for that pick, for that pick to get Scotty.
That was finesse.
So basically, y'all had the 8th pick and move up to get Scotty at 5. They end up taking Odin Polynice, who they could have took at 5 anyway if they really wanted him that bad. So you get that finesse. You get Horace Grant at 10. So you got Scotty and Horace in the same draft. Come on, man. That's an A+ draft right there. And those guys were 2 of the staples, along with Cartwright, to start winning those championships. Of course, it took, that was the 87 draft. But, look at 89 and 90. They were a good team. They were competing.
Yeah.
Scotty made his first All-Star game in 89, I think. So they were competing right there with Detroit, trying to break through. And, of course, eventually they did break through. So Krause recognized plenty of talent, even in the post-Jordan era. Look at some of the guys he drafted. Of course, everybody's going to whiff at some point. Belichick whiffs.
Oh, yeah.
But Krause drafted Ron Artest. We know how good he was. Granted, he had the melee, the mouse in the palace, so that kind of hurt his stock a little bit around.
But he still was a good player, though. Yeah.
But he was a good player. Tyson Chandler was a good player. Jay Will out of Duke had potential before the accident. So, Ben Gordon, like Krause was drafting a lot of good people before he resigned in 2007. So the guy wanted to trade for T-Mac. T-Mac was young. Like, come on, man, you recognize.
That's T-Mac. Like he had a good rookie year either. Like.
So, just those little small things, man, you recognizing good talent, like going to get Steve Kerr to put on this team, kind of like in that John Paxson role, or going to get Ron Harper, bringing in Rodman. Like, those are just small little moves, man, that can help a team a whole lot. So you got to get a good credit for being able to recognize talent and to maneuver just small little chess pieces around the board to keep them competitive.
Right. And that's why I think they still would have been fine. Because do I think they would have beat the Spurs in '99? I don't think so. Not without Pippen and if Pippen was the lead, because now you think about, he said, I want to demand a trade. He probably would have walked for the money. I think he would have left for the money. Rodman was getting old. So you talk about having to rebuild your team. It's kind of like, do they beat the Spurs? No, I don't think Jordan. I don't think Jordan at 34 could have revert to that. What we saw in in the first two episodes about playing Boston when he was 23 at the time, 22, scoring 60 points. Now, I just think that's Tim Duncan and Dave Robinson are just too great as a players of all time ranks to lose just to Jordan maybe. It's all debatable, but you gotta think, okay, if Krause could have done it one time, could he do it again? And that's what you're trying to bank on. And if Krause would have made the trade, if Pippen said, I want to trade out, I want to leave in 98, and that's what the next part is going into, like, you don't think he could have got a good return for him, and that team would have been good enough if the Knicks 8 seed are making the finals in 1999, I don't see why a Jordan-led Bulls team wouldn't get there with the pieces he got. So whether you win or not is a different story, but
yeah, that's probably the only thing. I think they could have. I think they should have probably ran it back one more time for the '99 season. But at the same time, when you really think about everything that was happening at that time, I don't think running it back at that time would have even been an option because they had to lock out because the salary cap was changing. So I think with the cap changing, you probably couldn't have paid Mike at $30 million again. And you probably couldn't have gave Scottie 10 to 15 like he was looking for. I think he got 11 from Houston.
11 from Houston, then he went to 14 in Portland the following year.
So yeah, I don't think with everything changing in that lockout in '99. So you'd have had it was 50 games. So you'd have had these guys sitting idle. Rodman, like you said, was 36. So I mean, you'd have had to replace that pivotal piece. Now, granted, for 50 games, maybe off a long rest. And Whitfield, with Mike and with Scottie, you could have maybe got some good minutes out of him. But just looking at what his post-career was like post-98, and maybe he was finished, so
I think what we're gonna see in the documentary as it go on about how bad that it showed that the greatness at the end, but like how hard it went through with that season to get through like Last Dance, but it's like you see the little clips of highlights of Rodman with the ice baths and stuff like that. Like I don't know if he could have win another year. You know what I'm saying? Like he got cut so fast from the Lakers. Like this was Shaq and Kobe with Rodman. Like this could have been something special. But
yeah, I think he went to Lakers and Mavs after leaving the Bulls, and he didn't last long on either teams.
2000
so yeah, so he was pretty much probably done at that point. So let's say they would have brought it back for that next season, you'd have had to retool that piece. I'm not sure what they could have got for that. You still have to figure out the whole salary cap thing with Mike and Scottie because I don't think there's no way with that new cap Mike would have been able to get 30, 35 again. He would have probably had to take like 18, 20. And Mike ain't taking no 18, 20.
At that time, Mike, the businessman, was coming out. And he ain't flying for that.
Yes, I only think Mike could have got his money, and then Scottie went and got what he was looking for. So I think it ended at the perfect time because I mean, at that time, Mike hit the classic shot that's been replayed a million times. So you ended on that note. You ended 6-0. And granted, I think we all believe in defend it until you lose it. But that was the perfect way to end it. And they could have potentially got the '99 title, but I just think in the end, with other factors at that time going on, bridges being burned, guys being burned out,
right?
Guys aging a little bit, and what everybody wanted financially, I don't think it would have worked out. So, granted, they had to just lose it all and didn't get any trade value back from anybody, Scottie, Rodman, anybody. So, I mean, but let's look at how we look at other sports too. Like when the Brady thing came up, what did we say? They need to blow it up. When Drew Brees came up, blow it up. So I mean, I can't fault. For want to blow it up. I can't be hypocritical and say no, run it back again because other factors were at play, and he wanted to. I mean, take ego and credit aside, he wanted to keep the team competitive for years to come. And he was trying to get a young piece like Mac. Like
that cliff was coming, and he knew like at one point I might lose all three of these guys at one time. Like, I don't know know what his personal relationship with Phil Jackson and why. Why they just, I don't think Phil cared, but it's like, I don't know what Krause had a vendetta against him, but it's like, I don't know why he didn't think Phil could usher in the new chapter. I guess he didn't believe in him, but that's the only thing I credit, like, that's the only thing I credit, but that's the only thing I take away from Krause was that decision, because I don't know what he was thinking about that, but yeah, you're right. we we our philosophy are the same as Jerry Krause's. And I can't fault him for trying to retool it and keep staying right because you got the best player in the world. You're not gonna fall off. Like you're still gonna be a top team in the league. So you might as well just take the best player, try to build around him again, find you a gym, and build around him. Like T-Mac would have been a perfect guy. Like yes, he got hurt later on, but we seen what T-Mac was in his career. You don't think Chicago with T-Mac, he traded for T-Mac, would have drafted Tyson Chandler, eventually got Ben Gordon, a guy like Kirk Howard. Like this could have been it might have been a championship team, but it definitely T-Mac would have won at least one round. That he never did.
Like man, dude, Mike was gone anyway because if you're not bringing back Phil, you're not getting Mike.
Right.
So, at that point,
I would have traded Pippen away. 98, like I would have, like me personally, when he demanded that trade, like we're gonna see. I can't wait for the next one on Sunday, 9:00 Eastern time. But I can't wait for that one because it's like, what is Krause? What's going through Krause's mind when he finally demands a trade? Because like, all right, that's me.
Like,
okay,
man. Like that would have been a bad move to trade Scotty. Y'all already finessing him. He the 122nd highest paid player in the league.
Yeah,
I'm not trading for the value.
For the value, okay, for the value, I understand.
I'm not trading. I mean, then he only played like 42 games. He came back. He was still getting like 19, 6, and 6.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not trading that guy.
If we was putting this from that year to now, the sign and trade definitely would have. I would have signed and traded. Go for the championship. Sign and trade to where he want to go, and get my pieces back. But at this time, I don't think that was a thing then. So it's kind of like
Oh no.
So it's kind of like Jordan too competitive. He's not going to say I'm not going to play. Like he's not going to sit down if I trade Pippen. Like you know what I mean? Like he's not just going to quit on the team. Especially when we said this the last year anyway. So Jordan gonna go out with a bang. So it's not like he whatever. So it's like I probably would have done it. Like that T-Mac trade would have been my team. And I don't know. I feel like guys like LeBron and you saw Kobe to an extent. See, like they kind of gravitated to the young guys a little bit, the ones that they thought were good. And if Jordan got T-Mac, I don't know why. I mean, we all seen T-Mac from a young age get off. So Jordan probably would have been all right. It would have helped him win, but. I mean,
yeah, he wouldn't got that 6 title. He would have been stuck on 5, and then you just still had to wait a little while for T-Mac to develop because his first 2-3 years in Toronto, he started out pretty slow. But when he got to Orlando, dude was off like a rocket.
But that's coaching though. I'm thinking like Toronto, but Doc Rivers in Orlando or Phil Jackson in Chicago if Phil was to stay. You know what I'm saying? But like it all matters where you go. And I'm like, okay, yes, you probably don't get 6, and then on top of that. Maybe Krause saved Jordan's legacy because, to an extent, Jordan legacy all built about around the 6-0. If they would have went 99 and lost, I mean, Jordan's the only sports figure I know that I can think of that hasn't lost. Like every other great every sport has lost. So
and
that's what Jordan got.
Outside of
maybe Floyd. I was say except Floyd, and boxing is how you want to look at it because you got heavyweights and all that stuff.
Yeah, boxing you depend upon yourself too.
Right. So you
don't have teammates. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of like he maybe Krause saved him. I don't know. He knew. Robin 36. Oh, we out of here, man. You got to go. On Scottie Pippen's contract though, like we talked about it while I was watching it. I was like, man, whoever his Pippen agent was or whoever was talking to him was trash. Now I understand the magnitude of behind it, the story with the family, taking care of the family. I get that. $1 million, you can't go wrong. Like with 1, 2, 100, you can't go wrong with $1 million. But my only thing was the years, and I still, they said it in the documentary, but I still don't understand you want the certainty of it versus the believing in yourself. Because if Pippen came in with the attitude, I'm better than Michael Jordan. Remember he said that during the rookie year.
Oh yeah.
Why wouldn't you bet on yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like sign it was 2 or 3 years. To me, it's always the years of contracts. Like you're not suckering me in a 7-year contract. I don't care what sport it is, or what it is. I just can't get myself suckered into that. I like 2 or 3, and then just like Kevin Durant, we'll revisit. Like I'd rather do that. And maybe, like I said, maybe that wasn't the style back then. So it's kind of hard to get out of that mindset. But it's like I understand he had to take the deal to help the team out because they want selfish players. I mean, is what it is. But to be 122nd paid to take a 7-year contract, I mean, yes, he made up for it in Houston, but still.
Yeah, it's you gotta looking at that era and that time frame because, man, like you said about Scotty's agent, that's not his agent's fault. I mean, I forgot who tweeted out, but they said Scotty never fired his agent because when he signed that contract, they were telling him don't take it.
Okay.
And, yeah, so I forgot who tweeted out, but they were telling he the story came out that his agent said, "Hey, you shouldn't take this deal. It's a bad deal for you." But because he has 9, 10 brothers and sisters and family, 7 years, 18 million, you can't turn that down. And of course, he had this press conference where he said, "My day will come," which it did come. He got a lot of money on the back end,
right.
So it all did work out. But back then, guys weren't doing what we're doing now: 1+1s, 2+1s. Give me the max for a year and I'll see what happens in the offseason, stuff
right.
like that. Like guys like Shaq, they were taking $600 million, or I think Mike kind of pioneered the 1 year thing with the $30 million later on. But before that, I mean, he got locked into like a 5-6 year deal. He was making only $2, $3, $4 million throughout the 80s and 90s until he got his last 2 deals.
As a 99 overall.
Yeah, so you the GOAT, but you making $4 million. I mean, you lucky Nike and Hanes was out there, man, because that's how his money came from. Right. He wasn't making no money from ball, and you the face of the league. You selling all the jerseys, all the action figures, the bobbleheads. You on all the programs, all the commercials. You the hottest commodity in the world, but you're only making $4 million from ball. So I can't blame Scott at that time, man. He secured his family, himself, and of course he got money on the back end. I mean, that's really all you can ask for at that time. I mean, bad deal, yeah. 7 years, 18 million, very underpaid, undervalued. But when you look at his reasoning behind it, secure myself, guarantee myself some money, stability, you really can't argue against it.
All right, we only got a few minutes left. 12 Hour Sports is doing a live draft show for the NFL draft, so make sure y'all tune into that right after us. Starting at 7:45. So we got what, maybe 8-10 minutes left. NFL draft news, NFL just period. Gronkowski to Tampa Bay.
Draft day, Bayou Bengal.
Draft day, Jeff Okudah. Me and Rashad going to
shout out to Drizzy.
But no, man. Hey, draft day, D Brown is about to go down. But any other things we talking about? Like we saw Gronkowski get traded to the Buccaneers. We saw that for a 4th round pick. The Patriots also picked up Marquise Lee, who was cut by the Jags. A lot of rumors. Finesse. Like they got rid of a retired player
for $10 million.
That make $10 million for a 4th round and a cut player who is good when healthy. So hey, Patriots, shout out to you, man. Good job, Bill. And you got the other rumors like Falcons want to trade up, Jazz want to trade up. Jamal Adams might get traded. Like all these crazy trade. Williams on the block again. So, is there any one that you can say, I know this may happen tonight, in the draft, or I won't be shocked if this happened?
Well, I threw out the deck last week. Shout out Westbrook for saying that on
B West. Watch the Prophets, man, because he gonna go on first take and talk about how Dak can get traded. You heard my boy say it first. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Shout out B West. First things first, man. Shout out B West. What can happen tonight, man? We got a few. Like you said, Trent Williams. Anybody on the franchise tender? Yeah. Anybody like that could potentially be moved. So you got Joe Tooney in New England. You got Trent Williams. He wants out. Man, it's a lot of guys right now. That Jamal Adams, like you mentioned, it's a lot of guys that could potentially be involved in some deals. I want to see what happens with Clowney, man. Like, dude wanted 20-something million. Now he's down to 18, and now the market just dead. Like, his market has dried up. So I guess Seattle and Tennessee, the only teams that still kind of buying into Clowney. But I want to see if he's sign and trade somebody. I want to see what happens with Clowney and I mention Odell every week. I want to see what happens with him. I just think something about Odell
and their draft positioning, they can take a Ruggs, a Lamb, or something like that. They need O-line.
Need O-line.
But you could, move off
I mean,
Odell, get a trade back, and then get your, still get a receiver replace him. So it's just a lot of guys, man. A lot of names on the block right now.
And the thing about this draft is, we also gearing up for our draft day profit betting game, but it's so many scenarios, bro, that is just crazy. You got the Raiders. They made trade from pick 19. Pick 19. They may go all the way up to if the Raiders trade 19 for Odell Beckham, because Raiders are whatever linked to get a receiver, you get Odell Beckham. The Browns can take a receiver at 10, and 12 Raiders can get who knows. I think personally Isaiah Simmons may fall.
Why you say that?
If he don't go 4, so you say he go 4, I don't think they should. So I think Giants should go lineman. We talked about it last week. If Simmons don't go 4, he's not going 5. He's not going 6. He could go 7. But we talked about last week. Are you going to build the trenches? All right. So would you rather have Shaq Thompson, who's an above average linebacker with no D line, or get with draft like Kinlaw or Brown, or would you rather have the 2 good linebackers and your trenches still bad? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like your calculations, how you want to play that game. So if you don't go 7, 8. I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. Receiver, offensive line. They could take Isaiah Simmons too.
They got to go O-line, man.
Right,
Cardinals they got to protect Kyle.
They need to go trenches regardless. O-line, D-line, whatever it is. And then 9, Jacksonville. I mean, they can get a linebacker too, but corner is a need. A lineman for them is a need too. It's so many needs for those teams. How do they view Isaiah Simmons? How can they work him in? Because, like I said, Giants, I don't think they're the team that's going to put him in the right spot to be a Hall of Famer. So I think Simmons. I want Simmons to fall to the Raiders at 12. That's for me to put him in the right spot. Cause I think he'll be great with John Gruden. That's in my opinion. But if he falls to 12, and Browns draft receiver, trade Beckham at 19, and you can get a tackle like a Josh Jones or Austin Jackson at 19. I mean, that's pretty good for the Browns. 10 and 19, that's pretty good. So it's so many scenarios that you can just go crazy with. We hear the Jacksonville want the 3. So that Jags want Okudah? Or do they want Henderson? Falcons gonna trade the top 5. Who do they want? I think that's the beauty of the draft, and I'm glad that no trade has happened yet, because I want it to be live. I want it to be on there oh man, they're working, and you mentioned about Clowney. We're gonna find out tonight. If is Seattle get an edge rusher? Are they out on Clowney? Did Tennessee get an edge rusher? Are they out on Clowney? Would you rather first round pick, pay him nothing versus pay Clowney $18 million? So it's kind of like
exactly.
So it's kind of like so we're gonna find out tonight if Clowney gonna have a job. I talked about this on the Preachers Choir with the Vikings. We talked about Everson Griffin. He free agent. Is he gonna go back to Minnesota because nobody want him? Because everybody gonna feel their needs in this weekend. It's just gonna be crazy tonight. I can't wait.
Yeah, the team that could be the biggest mover is gonna probably be the Jags. They got to get rid of Ngakoue. The rumors so the rumors are floating out about moving up to get a QB. I think they should just roll with Minshew at least one more year, and then you will be in position to get Fields, Lawrence, or somebody else next year. So I think they should just work on building back up to Saxonville. 4 Nets on the block potentially. So the Jags could be the biggest mover if they're trying to just rid the roster of everything 2017 and before. So they might be the biggest mover, but the Lions hold all the keys. The third pick holds all the keys. So whatever the Lions do and whatever the Jags do could be the biggest shakeups. And the sneaky one may be the 49ers. They may want to trade back.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the pick from the Colts, and they had their 31st. So they may want to trade back and get some more capital. So to me, those are 3 to look at. Lions, because they hold all the keys at 3. Jags, because they're trying to rid their roster and get back picks. And 49ers could want to move down. And
I would add 2 more teams that got multiple picks in this. I think Minnesota and Miami also holds weight, because what if, I know people keep saying Tua may fall as well, but what if Miami mess up the draft and just say, you know what, boom, Tristan Wirfs, and then mess it up, and then use those picks to come up and get quarterback. You know, it's like who knows?
Oh yeah.
So it just so many scenarios. I don't think like a lot of players that separate themselves too far. Like everybody want Henderson now, so it's like okay, does Okudah fall? Like you know what I'm saying? Like does Lions value Henderson now, or did they want? Because you never know teams' boards, and with this process of the virus and all this stuff, we just don't know.
Yeah, I got one more for you before we sign off for tonight, man. Todd McShay and Mel Kiper had a bet that Jordan Love would go before Justin Herbert. What do you think about that, man? And get well soon, Todd McShay, man. I know he has the COVID-19 right now, so get well, Todd McShay. It'll be sad he's not covering the draft, but what's your thoughts on that, man? Jordan Love going before Herbert.
I just don't see it. I don't like
me either.
I don't like neither one of them really, but you know, it is what it is. But that's all we got for tonight. So we'll be back on. Podcast drop tomorrow. We'll be back live here Thursday next week at the same time, man. So preach, care, preach with Rashad.
Enjoy the draft.
Enjoy the draft, man. We out.